Ready, fight!
Welcome to the cave. What's going on, team? Welcome to Caveman Bets, the sports tipping show where we give you tips straight from the cave. I'm Caveman, and today I'm going to be breaking down my top 20 for the upcoming Premier League season. We're going to run through from 20th all the way up to my pick for first. Going to give you bets and tips along the way so you can make money on the Premier League season. Let's get into it. So coming in at number 20, my cellar dwellers, we have Watford. Now, this is not the same Watford team that was up a few years ago. This team is just not there. Sure, they did well in the championship, but they no longer have a Premier League roster. Watford to come bottom of the table, absolutely dead last. You're getting 433. That's plus 333 in American. I think there's a lot of value there. This Watford team does not look great at all. Moving up to number 19, and we have Crystal Palace. Now, Vieira has come on as coach, replacing the long-time standing Roy Hodgson. The best thing about Crystal Palace was that defense with a defensive-minded coach. Now that Vieira's there, they're going to try and score goals. It's not going to work for them. Crystal Palace looks all set to be going down. Now, Crystal Palace to be relegated, you're looking at 275, or that's plus 175. Good value there. This is not the Crystal Palace of a few years ago. This team looks like it's set to join the championship. Coming in at number 18, our final relegation spot, and it is Norwich City. Now, Norwich just looks like a perennial yo-yo team. They're not going to be able to do much in the Premier League this season. They've sold their best player. It looks like Cantwell and Aarons might be on the way out as well. There's not a lot of point in them sticking around. They should just go back down, come back up next year, make some more money, go back down, come back up the year after, make some more money. Hey, it's a bad business plan, but it's going to make a profit. You're not looking at a bet to relegate Norwich. Honestly, if you think they're going to stay up, betting them to stay up could be a go. But coming in at number 18, there's no value there. Number 17, we have Newcastle. And Newcastle, their fate relies on two players. It's St. Maximum and Callum Wilson. Now, if either of these guys get injured during the season, which Wilson has a poor track record of injuries, St. Maximum wasn't the healthiest last season either, it's not going to go well for them. They don't have that strong defense that they have had in the past. I can see them hanging on and managing to just nip above the relegation zone, but injuries could derail this team. Hey, they stay healthy, they could shoot up this list 5 or 6 spaces. Coming in at number 16, we have Burnley. Now, Burnley just look like a team that probably should be in the championship by now. They've got a couple of pieces here and there, but it's really not the same. I think Sean Dyche is there. As long as he's there, they're going to stay up. If he goes, it is game over for Burnley. Coming in at number 15, and that is our third promoted team. We have Brentford. Now, I don't mind this Brentford team. They've been quite good in the championship for years now. I really like Tony. I rate him as a player. They've had quite a nice model of making money. They've been selling their best players, which has been one of the reasons why they've stayed down in the championship. But they're coming up. They should be able to do a wee bit of work. Yeah, I really like them to stay up. And I really like them to be the best of the promoted teams. So we're getting that one at 2s or plus 100. I think a wee bit of nice value there. Coming in at number 14, we have Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, Wolves are on the way down. I don't think they're going to be the same team without Santo Nunez there. Sure, they'll do okay this season. They'll do slightly worse next season, and I'd say they'll be gone by 2023, 24. Coming in at number 13, Southampton. Now, Southampton, whew, they could come in anywhere between 11th and 17th. This is one of those teams that if they play well and they play to their best ability, they're a good football side. When they don't, not a good team at all. If they lose Danny Ings, I think that they are going to go right down this list. Right now at 13th, I think that's there or thereabouts for them. Coming in at number 12, we have Brighton and Hove Albion. I like Brighton. I think they're a good team. They've got a nice defense, a solid midfield. Attack is where they are lacking. Pay was very average last season. If they can grab a striker before the season starts or even before the window closes, just to be able to shore up that front a wee bit more. Yeah, I think Brighton are a solid team. They've been great at the back for a number of years now. Let's just get that one more striker, and this team's going to go places. Number 12 for Brighton. Coming in at number 11, we have last year's revelations, Leeds United. Now, I think Leeds are going to take a small step back in the way that they play next season. I've got them in coming in at 11th, mainly because they are better than the rest of those teams, but I still don't see them being as good as last year. I think Bamford's got to take a step back in the goal scoring. Calvin Phillips is an absolute class act, so you can't say anything about him. And I think that defense might be a little bit suspect outside of Phillips in that holding midfield spot. Moving into the top 10, and at 10th place, we have Aston Villa. Now, I really like this Aston Villa team, but it looks like they're set to lose Jack Grealish. Without Jack Grealish there, they are definitely not the same. I see a step back for Aston Villa this season. Next year, maybe 2 or 3 steps forward if they can use that Jack Grealish cash wisely and manage to get a few great players. Number 9, we have Everton. Now, Everton continuing on the coaching roundabout. They have lost Ancelotti. They bring in Rafa. I don't mind the coaching change. I think that's okay. I still think they are going to take a step back again. Their defense looks to be aging. Obviously, Digne is a great player. Seamus Coleman he looked like he was out of that side and then he came back in. It just shows how much they were struggling at the back end last season, having to bring Coleman back into that starting side. Number 8, we have West Ham. Now, I really like West Ham. I think they're a great team. And to be honest, they could jump up to number 7 quite easily. I think Antonio is an amazing striker, even with his age. He just has that ability to get in the right place at the right time. Now, it wasn't until they got Jesse Lingard last season that they really started making strides. Doesn't look like they're going to have Lingard this season, which is quite bad for them. But hey, I still like this team to be able to do well. Coming in at number 7, we have Spurs. Now, I'm going to be honest, I do think I have Spurs a little bit too high on this list. There's a lot of things not to like about them this year, but I do see them keeping Harry Kane, and that's one of the main reasons why I have them at 7. If Kane does go, they could probably drop all the way down to 10. Obviously, they've got a new coach coming in, which is not ideal for them. They've got pieces that are good. They've got pieces that are bad. If Kane goes, I can see Son having a great season, which is a really good positive for them because I really rate Son. But with Kane there, yeah, I think 7's about right. With Kane gone, you could drop them down to almost double figures. Coming in at number 6, we have Leicester City. Now, I'm dropping Leicester City down a bit, and I've seen a lot of people have them around that fifth spot. Now, hear me out here. Leicester City's a great team, but I see them taking a bit of a back step this season. More of the fact because they will be playing in the Europa League. They're going to have more games. There's going to be more traveling. I just don't see them having enough depth to be able to last through all of that and still make a push for the Champions League next season. Really like Leicester, but like I say, six seems about right for me. Now, Leicester City to win without the big six, so that's Chelsea, City, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Spurs, is threes or plus 200. Excellent, excellent value there. The only teams they would have to get ahead of would be West Ham, Everton, or Aston Villa. Maybe you could put Leeds into that argument, but I can easily see them clipping all those teams. So threes or plus 200, terrific value there. Coming in at number 5, I have Arsenal. Now, again, a lot of people aren't that high on Arsenal. I don't mind the team. I think they've got a really nice set of young players coming through. They've got some savvy veterans as well. Aubameyang is world class. Now, Arsenal, of course, is not going to be playing European football this season. With the less travel and just the three main competitions to focus on, I think that's actually going to do them a world of good, and they're going to be able to do quite well in the Premier League this season. Arsenal is a team, obviously, that struggles with travelling. And we saw that last season. Whenever they'd come back from a European Cup competition, the next game they would be terrible. They were losing or drawing against teams they should not have been losing or drawing against. You take that out, and I think this team can probably not make a Champions League push, but they can definitely get into Europa League qualification. Now, Arsenal to make the top 6 is paying 237 or plus 137. I think there's quite a bit of value there. Obviously, there's so many question marks around Spurs. West Ham, maybe they are going to be up there, maybe they're not. Everton with the coaching changes, Aston Villa with Jack Grealish most likely gone. Arsenal really have a great shot to make that top 6, and I have them at 5th. Now, coming in at number 4, we have Liverpool. Now, Liverpool, they're a good team. They're a solid team. They're going to be having Van Dijk back, which is going to be excellent for them. But I feel Chelsea, City, and United have all done a lot more than what Liverpool have in this off-season. I think that season they won the Premier League a few years back was a bit of a one-season wonder. Sure, they're not going to be toiling down in 6th to 10th place anymore, but I don't think they're quite good enough to be patrolling for those top few spaces. Last year it was shown their depth is atrocious. They lost Wijnaldum, who is a key kind of depth piece, obviously a starter in most games, but I like to see him as a depth piece as well. I just don't think they'll be able to push for that top 3. Coming in at number 3, we have Manchester United. Now, United have done some great things this season. They've signed Jadon Sancho. They've signed Rafael Varane. 2 amazing signings, which fixed massive, massive holes that they have in their team. I still think they need to go after a striker. Obviously, you've got Cavani there, but I like Cavani coming off the bench around that 60-minute mark. I think he's a great impact player for the end of the game. They have a few other guys that can fill in that spot. Greenwood showed promise as the striking position, but I think they need an out-and-out striker to become really, really relevant. I always like to see when these big teams sign players, it's not year 1 that they go well, it's the second year. So I just want to watch United this season. And if there's a lot of promise, I can see them making a big push for next season. Coming in the second spot and the number 2 team, which may surprise some people, I'm going Manchester City. Now, Manchester City, they lost some pieces over the offseason. I feel this is a Champions League or bust season for City and Pep Guardiola. If they don't win the Champions League, it could be all over for Pep. He could be walking out that door. The way I see this is if the Premier League's starting to get close at the end of the season and the Champions League is heating up and they're still there in the quarters, the semis, the finals, they're going to start resting players from the Premier League to keep them fresh for the Champions League because Man City fans know that's the big win right now. They have a handful of Premier League titles already. Now it's time for them to get that Champions League. So I see them putting all the eggs into that basket this season. That's why I'm going City for second. Now, a bit I love here is the forecast. Obviously, you've probably worked out who my number one is. So the number one, first place, Chelsea, second place, Manchester City, is paying nines or plus 800. I think that is a terrific bet. Man City is obviously a team that's going to be first or second, maybe third, but I highly doubt they're going to fall down that far. Coming in at the top spot, you've probably worked it out, is of course Chelsea. Now, Chelsea showed so much promise towards the end of last season under Tuchel. Their defense is simply sublime, and the attack has a lot of promise. I love seeing teams in the second year after they sign all the promising players. Obviously, they got Werner, they got Havertz, they got it was Hakimi. They've got a few players there, not Hakimi, sorry. They've got a few players that are doing very well and they're progressing. They're integrating with the system. They're integrating with the other players. Mason Mount looks like a future superstar. They've got some absolutely brilliant pieces. Now, in year two, I see this team taking the big step. Obviously, they won the Champions League last year. So that's not going to be the main focus this year. The focus this year is going to be getting that Premier League title. That's why I have City and Chelsea round the other way from what a lot of people would see them. Now, if we're looking at a bet on Chelsea to win the Premier League, paying sixes or plus 500, I think that's terrific value. Basically, whoever you like to win the Premier League outside of Man City, you're going to get good value on them because City are such short favourites. But that has it. That is my top 20 for the upcoming Premier League season, complete with betting tips and analysis. Now, please, guys, hit that subscribe button. We're just starting up the channel, so we want to try and get as many new subscribers as possible. Like the video. Hit us up with some comments if you don't like my numbers, if you think you've got a better reasoning for teams to come in different places. Hey, if there's any bets that you really like that I haven't covered, this is obviously a couple of weeks out from the start of the Premier League, so things are still going to happen. The final numbers could change a wee bit, but right now, this is what I'm liking. So thank you for watching and check out our other content. Cheers.